This is Ira Gorlick, and this is the fourth part in my series of lectures on spontaneous order. To summarize again, spontaneous order is the apparent rise of order without direction from an authority like a government or church. And spontaneous order is distinguished as different from constructed order. It is impossible to exist in an environment that does not have a foundation of constructed order. So what I'm saying here, and I think this is important, is that there exists a thing called spontaneous order, and I showed you some videos of people walking or driving, but there also exists a thing called constructed order. And I think that is impossible to exist in an environment that does not have some foundation of constructed order. And the Bible is the foundation for many people to create spontaneous order. Rules around gay marriage, abortion, mercy killings are constructed order for many people. For the example, women should submit to men is a constructed order. Keeping kosher is a constructed order. How you implement it is a spontaneous order. So going back to the thinking about walking, let's say you lived in a culture where if the king walked by, you had to move out of the king's way. That the constructed order is that the king gets preference over somebody not the king. So that's a constructed order. Now, at the time, at the instance, it becomes spontaneous order. So spontaneous order is contrasted with constructed order. Constructed order is an effort to construct an order through top-down planning that coordinates individuals' action towards some chosen end. Government bureaucracies and socialized industries are constructed orders, which Hayek defined as relatively simple or at least necessarily confined to such moderate degrees of complexity as the maker can still survey, usually concrete, in the sense that the existence can be intuitively perceived and inspected, and they invariably do, or at one time did, serve the purpose of the market. Now, I know that's a little wordy, but essentially what it's saying is that spontaneous orders can be more complex than constructed orders, that constructed orders, by their definition, in order for people to follow them, have to be relatively simple. And this is a useful observation as far as it goes. Unfortunately, Hayek went further. In Law, Legislation, and Liberty, he used his observation as the foundation for a critique of constructivism, constructed order. In short, Hayek argues that we ought to prefer spontaneously generated orders and resist efforts to construct and impose intentional and purposive institutions. From my perspective, though, it's not a binary, either spontaneous order or constructed order. It's more a continuum, where at one end you have spontaneous order, at the other end you have constructed order, and then most activities fall somewhere in between. The key problem for me with spontaneous order is that while spontaneous order is descriptively attractive in general, it provides no actionable guidelines as to how to apply it in a specific situation. Just as the concept of evolution by natural selection cannot tell us whether a specific lion should eat any particular antelope. So I'm going to go over now some of the specific problems. I have 3 problems with spontaneous order that I'd like to have some further discussion on. Thanks.